Hello, I am Mrs. Geeta Zunjarwad, Assistant Professor of Communication and Professional Skills, Department of Humanities and Sciences, Walchand Institute of Technology, Solapur. In this session, today we are going to discuss about the planning for an effective presentation. At the end of this session, student will be able to plan and prepare a good quality presentation. Alan Lakin said, failing to plan is planning to fail. An effective presentation makes the best use of relationship between the presenter and the audience. It takes full consideration of audience's needs in order to capture their interest, develop their understanding, inspire their confidence and achieve the presenter's objectives. So careful planning is essential. Now think, presentation planning is a useful and necessary skill in the professional world. Planning a presentation takes a time and dedication. You will want to figure out the way to construct you. Planning is not a simple process, it is an intellectual exercise and involves thinking. So let us think, what is planning for effective presentation? Take a pause, think about the question and try to write the answer. According to Heyman, planning is the function that determines in advance what should be done. Now let us discuss some of the steps for planning the presentation. These are some of the 7 steps. First one, analyze your audience. Second one, select a topic. Third one, define the objective of the presentation. Next is prepare the body of the presentation. Fifth one, prepare the introduction. Sixth one, prepare the conclusion. And the last one is practice delivering the presentation. All these points we are going to discuss now. The first step, analyze your audience. The first step in preparing a presentation is to learn more about the audience to whom you will be speaking. It's a good idea to obtain some information on the backgrounds, values and interests of your audience so that you can understand what the audience expects from your presentation. The second step, select a topic. Select a topic that is of interest to the audience and to you. It will be much easier to deliver a presentation that the audience finds relevant and more enjoyable to research a topic that is of interest to you. Content should be clear, simple, progressive and consistent. Step 3. Define the objective of the presentation. Write the objective of presentation in a single concise statement. Specify exactly what you want your audience to learn from your presentation. Base the objective and the level of the content on the amount of time you have for the presentation and the background knowledge of the presentation. Peter Drucker said, planning is no use at all unless it degenerates into work. So, step 4, prepare the body of the presentation. The body of the presentation is ideas that you present. So, assemble your best material. To present your ideas convincingly, you will need to illustrate and support them. Add authority by making connections with existing research, studies and information. Present data and facts that best illustrate the theme of your presentation. Look for your most solid supporting information. This should be the information that will really get the audience thinking and can inspire change. Consider the way points relate to one another and be prepared to discuss them in a logical, cohesive fashion. Provide vivid descriptions as you plan the body of your presentation. It's important to provide variety. Next point is prepare the introduction. A presentation must start with a solid introduction that grabs the audience's attention. So include the basics of introducing yourself. This is the fifth one step. During the opening, you want to clearly present your topic and the purpose of your presentation. Clearly articulating the topic and purpose will help the listeners focus on and easily follow your main ideas. These are some of the strategies. Make the introduction relevant to the listener's goals, values, and needs. Ask questions to stimulate thinking. Share a personal experience or begin with a joke or humorous story. Next strategy, project a cartoon or colorful visual. Make a stimulating or inspirational statements and give a unique demonstration. Just now we have discussed some of the strategies for introduction, good introduction. Step 6. Prepare the conclusion. You should always begin with the end in mind when it comes to planning a presentation. A conclusion should relate back to your introduction and summarize your points and leave your audience considering the topic you presented. The conclusion should only take up 5 to 10% of your presentation, so keep it brief. Now prepare the conclusion. During the conclusion of your presentation, reinforce the main ideas you communicated. Listeners won't remember your entire presentation, only the main idea. By reinforcing and reviewing the main ideas, you help the audience remember them. And the last point is practice delivering the presentation. Most people spend hours preparing a presentation but very little time practicing it. So listen to yourself presenting. It's a good idea to record yourself and then play the recording back. Listen to yourself talk to see what you need to work on. When you practice your presentation, you can reduce the number of times you utter words and phrases like well, and you know. Watch the time. Make sure your presentation it isn't going on for too long. Watch yourself give the presentation in a mirror so you can correct any distracting movements or gestures. These habits can easily diminish a speaker's credibility. You can also fine-tune your content to be sure you make your most important points in the time allotted. Here I have given the link whatever I have used for my presentation.